Hi everyone, it's Dave, Salty Cat Gaming, and in today's video we are playing Warcrow Adventures. I'm really excited about this. If you've been following my Blue Sky or on Facebook or Instagram, you would have seen that I painted up all the miniatures that came in the main box set. They were a lot of fun to paint. This is a dungeon delving type game. It's very similar in that aspect to HeroQuest or DungeonSaga, but I would say the complexity of this, like HeroQuest is fairly simple. DungeonSaga is a little bit more complex than HeroQuest, but not by much. And then this game would be a pretty far jump in complexity from DungeonSaga to Warcrow Adventures. The characters have these cubes they can spend for actions. So they get they have like 6 different attributes on them. They can spend these cubes either on a basic action or an action that's very specific to them, which has this whole like chain of cube, like a line of cubes that you have to apply that kind of builds up different abilities. It's much more complex. I am looking forward to this. It's an app-driven game, so we'll have the app give us our narrative and read through the quest line and drive the overall game, similar to what we've done in HeroQuest. In a minute here, I'll take a look at the characters, then we'll let the app guide us through the narrative, and then we'll start the quest. So let's get to questing. These are uncertain times indeed. Echoes of the past resonate throughout Lindworm, making their way through the ivy and moss-covered ruins of an ancient civilization that only a few can recall. But there is a place around which the treasures and mysteries are concentrated, Hawthorne Point. Hawthorne Point is a coastal town on the island of Assail, which was swathed in fog for a long time. For context, the fog is like this magical mist that came upon the land that is inimical to life, but there's like monsters and stuff that can't live in it. One day the fog began to retreat in the southeast of the territory. Dragged there by a violent storm, a smattering of sailors arrived on its shores. They thought their death was imminent, but the cloudless lands turned out to be a suitable place for a settlement, and this is how Hawthorne Point was founded. The city became the target of the nations of Lindworm, who mobilized their forces to secure a position on the island. The withdrawal of the fog allowed access to territories of the old Elven Empire, so they traveled there to establish a strategic foothold. Hostilities broke out and much blood was spilled. Finally, an armistice was signed to guarantee the safety of the place that no one wanted to leave. Now Hawthorne Point is a free port. Lured by the promise of fortune and the chance to start a new life, adventurers and outlaws pour in from every corner of Lindworm. In Hawthorne's Point, everyone has their place. You've come for different reasons. You've familiarized yourself with the threat that the fog presents. Within this miasma, there's only one place for misfortune and the macabre horrors that dwell there. Not far to the west of the city itself, tides of red mist wax and wane. And as the years pass, the inhabitants of Hawthorne Point have learned to fear and respect the fog. There are even whispers that it is capable of raising the dead. You have a mission to accomplish. These spooky stories may frighten the cowards, but nothing will deter you from reaching your goal. Those who know you understand that thirst for adventure courses through your veins. Welcome to Hawthorne Point, travelers. All right, so we're gonna go. What's interesting is I don't know if you had the expansions, if you can actually load 6 people in here or not. So we're gonna just go ahead and put all. Let's see here. I think I'll have to say which of these I'm going to end up using in this game, because I don't think I can use all of them. But there's my party. So yes, so I can load 6 in. And then these are the ones I'm going to end up taking. So like I said, I'm going to take Zoka, because I want a good tank usually in the party. I am going to take Ormuk, which I'm hoping he's DPS. Always take a healer. And then I think the other, I think it's really comes down between basically the Elven Ranger and the Wizard, like if you'd want to take one or the other. I'm going to take the Wizard, though. I like Wizards. Okay, so this is just going over cards that they have. I've already assigned them this equipment, so I already have the equipment cards in front of me.
It is late in the day when you find the collapsed head of a colossal statue. The sculpture's forehead alone exceeds the height of a normal person. Here, in this place, the trail you were following has gone cold. Clouds darken the sky, making it seem later than it truly is. You calculate that it won't be long until sunset, and you decide that you do not want to stay in this forest any longer than is necessary after the sun goes down. Naturally, you have already heard the travelers' tales about teams of explorers who never return from their quest in this place. But in this particular case, those who are missing here are the members of Expeditionary Company 21. Mount Haven's ambassador to Hawthorne Point, Thoragil Thesmont, was forced to reach out to you for aid, as she had no one else to turn to. The ambassador doesn't seem too thrilled by your presence, but the fact that Soka is in your company seems to have allayed her initial fears. So, she bestowed upon you the task of tracking down Company 21 and bringing them back safely to Hawthorne Point. If you can find them, that is. The night approaches as if it were a fearsome veil of shadows. You must make haste to find the clues that will lead you to the missing Company 21.
Alright, so I gotta find Company 21. So what tiles? Alright, so HeroQuest, you have the board. Dungeon Quest, you have like the three to four boards you kind of rotate. This is more like your traditional tile placement. So we just gotta find... Okay, so tile 101. Looks like a forest area with like a little... Okay, instructions. Place the interaction. So it's gonna go right here up in this corner by the looks of it. And we're gonna find the right token. Place another one right here. Deploy the characters. All right, so I kind of want the tank, wizard in the back. Well, let's kind of do it this way. So we got the wizard in the back, orc here for the DPS, my dwarf tank, and cleric. Alright, so we just have to find Company 21. There's abnormal silence in the forest. This is not a good sign. Alright, so we have an action. So we have a perception test to take. So what I need to do is figure out which of these ones, the characters I want to make the perception. Okay, so the directions, so for anybody who's playing this game at home, the directions apparently don't clarify what a combined test is, but it does mean to take, I just looked online, the consensus is you take all your dice from all your characters and you put them together for one big test. So let's see what happens. Alright, so we got, whoops, that was 1, 4, 5 successes. A lot of exclamation points, but I can't really spend them on anything. So, okay, so none of my characters have expertise. Otherwise, I could convert these 2 clear stars into successes. But I did get 5 here. So 1. Oh, more text. Despite the dim light, you make out footprints on the ground that are covered with some loose leaves, as if someone or thing made an effort to cover their tracks. Amongst these trampled leaves, the emblem of the Company 21 can be seen, its polished veneer dulled by mud and grime. Following the marks in the ground, you can tell that these grooves were caused by dragging the wayward dwarves. There are also signs of a valiant struggle punctuated by small dollops of blood. Your keen attention leads you to a rope camouflaged on the ground. You follow the rope carefully to uncover several crossbows surreptitiously hidden amongst the rocks. It is clear that someone, or thing, has gone to great lengths to not only disguise their tracks, but to also conceal their deadly traps. Just then you hear the revolting sound of gurgling coupled with something breaking the surface of a nearby pool of stagnant water. You stare in astonishment as corrupted bodies crawl amok and turn their empty, haunted eyes towards you. You have no idea what these things are, but it's clear they were once human. Their rotted, molting flesh is split apart, revealing bone and muscle. Their heads are no longer attached to their bodies, but they are held in place by a thick, black mass unlike anything you've seen in your life. The same black rot runs through the corpses inside, as if it were an animated, pulsing spine which keeps them on their feet. With a terrible throaty groan, the creatures shamble towards you. Okay, so it says to deploy one of the husks. We'll pop an image of what these guys look like up online, but basically rotting zombies with black goo all over the head. We have 2 husks. We have my 4 adventures. The husks go on initiative. You're going to see the initiative tracker right here. They go on 4. My wizard also is on 4. She goes on top. The dwarf's on 5. Cleric and barbarian are both on 3. So we basically turned around or to this. It's not round 3, but it's initiative 3. So either my cleric or my berserker can go next. And so my berserker has got 3 energy cubes. What do I want him to do? So if we take a look at his special abilities, he can rage. He's going to need to spend 1 cube on movement. And in this game, you can do a thing where, like, when you spend a cube on movement, I get 3 movement points for him, but I can spend them whenever during his turn. So, like, if he wanted to move, attack, move, do whatever, he has that option. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cubes on a displace, which will give me a free movement. And instead of doing movement, I'm going to put it on a displace, rage. And when I choose a line, I have to choose, the way their cards are situated is they're like, so the way these cards are situated is they're like a 3x9. And when I put the cubes down, I have to put at least up to the copper part. But I can optionally put a third down on the black part. And if I'm going to do this, like, I have to put 2 down. If I'm going to do this, I have to put 3, and I only can choose 1 row for the special abilities. Now, normal abilities are like move, fight. So those ones are easy. So I think I'm going to do displace and rage. So he gets a rage token. Put that on his character sheet. Displace lets me just basically move 1 adjacent for free. And then I'm going to spend the last one to attack with his machete. So the system's pretty interesting how we do this. So my orc has 2 of these orange dice on his machete. He also gets a black die for his armor, so this kind of represents me being able to block. And what we're going to do is we're going to do an opposed roll. The husk just has 1 orange and black, so it's going to be his 2 dice versus my 3 dice, and then we spend the icons, however, to do whatever activations. Now, what I can choose to do with my rage is because of my pendant lets me spend my rage to upgrade a dice, so I can make it a better dice. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to try it because I've never done it, and I got the rage anyway, so we might as well spend it. So I'm going to spend my rage. That upgrades one of my orange dice to a red dice, which is a better dice. So then I do an opposed roll. So the bad guy didn't get any hits. He got a bunch of exclamation points. I got 3, so let's just pop them out here. I got 3 hits. A shield and an exclamation point, and then the bad guy got 3 exclamation points. So normally how this would go is, like, I have 1 defense, so if he would have hit me once, I would have been all canceled out, but he didn't. I do have a switch, which is the exclamation point, but I do have a switch I can spend. So that exclamation point on my weapon, do I want to add bleeding, or do I want to add an additional? He didn't get any defenses, and he has no switches. So I could just do 4 points of damage straight up to him. I made 1 mistake. He only rolls his defense. It's attack versus defense. So I roll my armor just in case he has a response that could actually damage me. So he rolled double exclamation points, but he has nothing he can spend the exclamation points on. He just has a single armor. Okay, so I did make... told you it was a complicated game, and I'm still getting used to the app. The app is not too user-friendly. So I did validate. There's actually 2 units of 2 husks. So the one will have the white rings on it. I would do, what did I say? 3 points plus the exclamation point. I could do a 4th point of damage. So I'll do that to the, let me see here, we'll do 4 points. So I did 4 points of damage to, and it's going to be a little hard to keep track of these on the game board, which one's damaged, but it's going to be this one up here. They don't really, oh. Okay, so I did 4 points of damage to that one. Then my guy the orc will shift. He goes every 3, so he'll start again on turn 6. He'll go again. And then I want my cleric to go. I think she's going to try to kill the same one. So she's got a mace. She's got 2 yellows. He's got 1 black defense. And then all my attack rolls gain the switch. So if I do, I could heal if I get for any of my switches. Oh, I have to send my attributes. So I don't have to move. I don't necessarily, let's see what her characters can do. She can place an aura token on herself, which lets her spend them and then heal. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, because I want to leave 1 cubes to attack with her mace. I'm going to spend 2 of my cubes, 1 to upgrade 1 of my die rolls, and then which will change 1 of her yellows to an orange. So instead of 2 yellows, she'll do a yellow-orange. And then she will also get 1 aura token, which is letting her build up so she can heal herself. Because I kind of feel like if I can kill him, which would be great, and then bank some healing to prep. So let's roll these. The husk has 1 defense. So the husk has 1 black dice of defense. So we'll roll that first. It's got an exclamation point, which is nothing for it. I got a shield, which is really nothing for me, but I got an exclamation point and a star. The only thing I could use the exclamation point for would be to heal. I can add an extra die of damage. I don't really have anybody to heal, so I'm just going to kill the husk. So that'll be this husk. Takes another wound. Yes. So kill that husk. Her activation's done. We now go to turn 4. So, technically, I mean, it doesn't really matter in what case when I have 2 characters. Oh, no, I guess it's the husks. So the wizard's going to go. So she's an interesting character where, like I told you before, there's actually a black cube. I don't know if you can see it well, maybe there. She already has one of these black cubes, and they can only go on special parts of the character sheet. So, like, I can only spend them. I can spend them on any of them, but they're the only ones who can also be spent on this gold. And if I spend it, though, she gets a stain, which then there's all kinds of weirdness. I want to try to stay away from doing that, at least my first game, until I figure out how much I really want to mess with that. It's kind of like, bad magic. Dark Jedi. So I'm going to do 1 because I really want to interact. I want to interact. So I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to modify her initiative. So basically what's going to happen is once she goes every 4 rounds, but I'll actually skip her to 3 rounds just to make sure she can go before the husks the next time. And I'll spend 1 token to interact with this icon on the map. So I click on it. Oh, you obtain bone fragments. Okay, so bone fragments I'll be able to use. There's I get to go back to a town, so I get to do stuff with them afterwards. Okay, so I'm sorry, the Ludivine, obtain bone fragments from it. And then my 1 character's turn, I'm clicking on that. There's some kind of flowery bushes. It may be possible to identify what plants they are in order to use them to your advantage. Do you want to interact with this marker? I said yes already, because she's right by it. You rummage through the bushes for something that might be useful. The forest is treacherous, but is also a great resource of raw materials. If you identify any plants, you'll be able to use them when you return to Hawthorne Point. Examine I guess it's a perception test. So it's just going to be her. She's actually not bad at perception. She's got an orange and 2 yellows. All she got was exclamation points. So she doesn't find anything. Yeah, she doesn't identify anything. And here I thought she's going to be the most perception. Oh, and it goes away. So apparently she picked all the berries off and didn't know what they were and threw them away. Okay, so then she goes back 3. Then we have the husk go. They're going to... so let's see how they interact. We can go to one of them. Behavior. They're going to target the lowest vitality. If they're within 2 to 3, they basically just jump up. So this one's going to jump up and attack the wizard. So he jumped up there. He has 1 orange dice of attack. So we'll roll that, see if he does anything. He gives that open circle, will give out slow. But she has a blue defense. She's got a defense. He missed, but he does give her the slow status. So does he still? I guess he does, because he didn't do any damage. So that will actually move her up 1 in the initiative stack. So she's going to go back to 6. I'm sorry, she's going to go back to 8. She gets pushed 1 in since she's slowed. That's all he does. Next one, 1, 2, 3, 4. He'll advance 4, but then he won't be able to do anything because he's just approaching her. This one can't get to anybody, so he'll target the next one. So he'll jump up like this, and he'll target Ludvine. Again, he's got an orange dice. Her defense on her armor is black. So there's his attack. He got 1 attack plus, or just 1 attack. She got no defense, so she takes a point of damage. Put that on our character card. They're done. So then they jump to position 8, and bad guys are always at the bottom. So the wizard will still get to go first. Then we go up to 5, which is Zoka. So let's go back to here. Zoka is going to... What are you going to do, Zoka? You can taunt, which probably wouldn't be bad. Let's see how... So Zoka has a taunt ability. Do I really care about taunt? I don't know if I really care about taunting, because I don't know... I think I would rather just attack a bunch of times. Let me see here. I could displace... Oh, you know what I should do is I should... All right, so I'm gonna change her initiative, and I'm gonna give her a boost where she can count hollow stars as hits, and then she is going to attack. So when she changes her initiative, so she normally goes back 4, but this time she'll go back 3. So then that way she's on the same round as the husks. Her attack is... Oh, I didn't even look at that. So she has a special ability where she could have placed her initiative token on position 3 of the initiative tracker. So she should actually be up 1 more. So we'll just do that now. Should happen at the start of combat. So she has 2 yellow dice. She does... Well, he doesn't have any switches. He just has a black. So we'll roll his defense real quick. He's got 1 shield. She got 1 hit, but she did get 2 exclamation points, which she can spend to add another hit. So she will do 2 damage to that 1 husk, which is in, we'll say that's husk 1. She's done. I've already moved her. Oops, I forgot to move the cleric. The cleric actually is going to activate on 6 as Oh yeah, he already activated. So she's gonna activate. Okay. He activated on. They're both gonna activate 6. Okay. All right. So then we go to 6. It's gonna be my big Ormuk. He doesn't even really have to move. There's no facing in this game, so he's just gonna pivot around. I'm gonna try to damage the one that's already hurt because I'd rather take one out. So I know I need to leave one for attack. I don't need to displace. Or do I want to displace? I don't really want to displace. Yeah, I'll do the same thing I did before where I upgrade one of my attack dice. So he'll roll orange and red. And actually, I will use up my rage to upgrade the other one to red. So I upgraded, because I placed how I placed my cubes, I upgraded one dice from that, and then I spent rage to upgrade another dice. So I'll roll 2 black dice. I got 3 hits versus an exclamation point, which doesn't do anything on the husks. So I will do 3 points to that husk. And kill it. Giving me bone fragments. So this one dies. He's done. So he will go back 1, 2, 3. He'll go back to 9. Ludivine. That's Ludivine. She's injured. So I think I definitely want to attack because I want to get the one off the wizard. But I also want to heal. So we're going to do... That's fine. So we're gonna upgrade one of her attack dice, and we're gonna gain another aura. So then she's gonna attack with a yellow and an orange versus the husk black. So she gets well, that's not very good. So the husk will block 1. She's not gonna actually end up doing any damage because she got 2. Oh, actually, her mace lets her spend those as if they're regular if I want. So she's gonna do 2 hits to that husk, and I get to do I can spend 1 aura from the hit to heal, or I could do within your... Okay, so she can spend one of those. I mean, she can heal either way. She's gonna through the weapon or through here. So she's gonna spend one of her aura to heal 1 on herself, and then she did 2 damage to this one. No, sorry, she deals 1 damage. So she'll only do 1 point of damage to him, and then she's done, and then she goes back to 3. Zolka. She's going to go back to her old initiative. I'll have to do it that way. And then she'll also get a taunt token. And she still needs to move. So she's not taking any special abilities. She's just going to spend 1 to move. So she's going to move up. Spend 1 to attack. So she's got 2 yellow dice. All right, so now she can actually spend up to 2 exclamation points. So she does 3 damage. The husk does not defend, so she'll do 3 to the other one. Done. And then she goes back 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we go to my wizard. He'll get to go right before the husks go. She will... Yeah, she'll get 1 stain. I'll have to see when that kicks in. And then she's going to upgrade one of her dice. So normally she'd roll yellow and orange, so she'll roll 2 oranges. All right, so she got 2 hits and 2 exclamation points. The husk gets nothing. She can change those exclamation point, one of them, into a cleanse, so then she gets rid of the goo that she generated. And does she just do 2, or can she do anything else? Oh, and I can spend the other exclamation point to add another point of damage, so she'll do 3 to the one beside her, which will kill it. All right, and then she goes 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Husks will go. There's only one left. He's going to come around here because he really wants to attack the wizard. He's got 1 orange die. He's got 1 hit. She has 1 blue. And she blocks it. Then he'll move 4 back. 2, 3, 4. So he'll be, after all this stack, we go to here. Let's have Ormuk go. Ormuk, you got 3 cubes. You're going to need to move. So I think you're just going to generate a rage. And then you'll spend it to upgrade. And then you'll do a move. So you can move up behind it. And then you'll put 1 on your weapon to attack. And you get to upgrade 1 of your dice because you're going to spend your rage. And that's a free action. 3 hits. I think I might have just killed it. 1 block. So only 2 hits. All right, not quite dead. Then he'll go back 4. Then Ludvine will go. She's going to turn around and she'll also attack. I think she's going to do the same thing where she gets an aura token, upgrades 1 of her dice, and then attacks. So she'll spend the 3. That means she attacks with yellow and orange. She got 1 hit, but she can convert both those other symbols. So she gets a hit off of that one, and she could heal if she wanted. So it's 2 hits. It doesn't block. So she'll turn around and kill it. All right, all the husks are down. And we've all got bone fragments, which I don't know what to do with them. Woo! Okay, so now we go back to out of combat, since we don't have any bad guys. All right, and I'm just going to go in any order I want. So they can perform up to 2 actions outside combat. And like really, we just got this 1 symbol down here. So I'm just going to prep them. How do I want to do this? All right, so they're just going to move to that next little symbol on the board. Looks like there's something odd over there in an outcropping of rocks. Do you want to interact with this marker? Yes. The darkness closes in, but a bright shaft of light between the rocks on the opposite side of the stagnant water draws your attention. As you approach, you find an entrance to a grotto with a lantern illuminating its walls. Cold air and humidity greet you, but a foul odor of the grotto assaults your olfactory senses. A chill runs down your spine as the thought that more of these reanimated I cannot talk today. The reanimated corpses may lurk here. Ooh, there's another interact token placed. Remove the exploration token. That's done. Okay, so we're still not in combat. I am a little worried that there's like light here, but so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna place. Again, I'm not too worried about initiative outside of combat. This is actually showing that this is the space. Let's do this. Oh, you know. Oh, let's do this then. Because they can move and do all the stuff they want, and I can take out our remaining turns, and then I'll interact. We'll have the dwarf interact again. The path does not inspire confidence at all. Do I want to interact? Yes. You advance through the twisting corridor carved into the rock with the lights of the rusty lamps just barely illuminating the way. However, your encounter in the woods put you on edge. You can't shake the feeling that something is watching you. Obviously, because it is. Perception test. Is a lot of dice. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops, I didn't see that one, but it doesn't matter. 5. You scrutinize the rock wall to find a hidden grate in the ceiling. Cautiously, you scan the ground until you come across the mechanism that activates the trap, a small button that is cleverly concealed within the stones. It is well hidden, but you discover it in time. You warn your companions to enter with care and satisfying feeling worth of wash. And a satisfying feeling of worth washes over as you save them a good scare. Ew. All right, we're moving this over. Well, apparently just destroying everything. All right, we're going to go ahead and remove this token because I'm assuming this token is going to go away. All right, we need 402. All right. Looks like somebody's been playing some cards down here. So we land at 402. We have an exclamation marker dead in the middle. Remove this one. We already did. That's it. Okay. Okay, so again, I think we're just going to kind of line my characters. We'll just kind of put all the characters around the interaction marker, and then we'll click on it. The hallway snakes deep down into the ground. Yeah, I want to. As you pass through an opening in the wall, an underground chamber opens before you. It has signs of recent activity, remains of bonfires, and a plethora of various footprints on the ground. The air is pungent with the distinct smells of oil, blood, and smoke. Off in the background, you can see a closed door. To one side of the chamber, you see a cell carved into the rock with grimy, rust-covered bars. Something stirs inside the cell. A haggard-looking dwarf sits up on a pallet and gasps at the sight of you. He begins to sob hysterically as he tightly latches onto the bars and turns to you. He manages to keep his tone hushed as if he fears something else hearing his sobs. Thank the ancestors! Get me out of here, please, for mercy's sake. I don't want my fate to be as the others. I beg of you, free me now. I almost sound like I was stuttering more than be like, to be. All right, we got another room. And then, kaboom. I'm going to put in our interaction marker here. And another interaction marker on the fire. Maybe there's something good cooking. And a third one down here. Oh, looks like it's supposed to be a door. A door, maybe? And it looks like there's going to be a door. Did I still mess this up for placement? Is it supposed to be like, it's supposed to be like this. There we go. Okay, and then there's a door. We already moved that one. No bad guys? No bad guys. Okay. So normally the characters can make up to they get 2 actions around. So I can have them move twice or move interact. But that means I effectively can put them around the board however I want before I interact with anything. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to like just place them around this fire. Just kind of like that. Just circle here just in case, I don't know, in case anything happens. I'm going to interact with this in the middle first. So we'll have the wizard do it. So Nera. So this in the middle, it's the remnants of a bonfire. Among the smoldering embers, there appears to be something of interest, but be careful taking it. You could burn your fingers. Oh. What do you think it is? What kind of, do I think I need, oh, I guess we'll see. We'll interact. Among the remains of the fire, which has recently been rekindled, the sandy earth has taken on a different color here, reddish and bright. This could be useful, but you'll have to be careful not to burn yourself. Agility. So she's not the worst at agility. Carefully take the sand. she only got 1 success. Oh, she got it. All right. She obtained red sand. I remove the interaction marker. Okay. Then I think we're gonna we'll have the dwarf come down here and interact with this thing in the corner. At the foot of the statue, some herbs have grown that can be harvested, but it will not be simple to remove them. Do I want the dwarf to do this? No. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to move the cleric down. We'll have her do it instead. Yep. I bet it's going to be like agility. With a deft hand, it seems possible I could pull out some of this. Yeah. So the cleric has 3 yellows. She only got... No, she didn't get any. Yeah, she got 0. There's nothing I can do, right? Exclamation points, exclamation points. Yeah, she got 0. So nothing for her. Okay. We'll have the wizard... I don't really want the wizard to do this. We'll have the orc check out the door. Or check out. There's a rather upset dwarf locked in a cell. His morose sobs tell you that speaking to you will require some tact. Oh. Do I want to interact with this marker? Tact. What do I think tact is going to be? It's probably going to be charisma. Who has the most charisma? Oh, the cleric should do this. So we'll say that the cleric moves up, and I'll just put it right next to it to interact. So we'll interact with it as the cleric, because she'll have... She's skilled in it, which means that even the clear ones will count as success. The clear stars. So yes. By the light of your lantern, it is clear that he is dressed in the mountain uniform, recognizing the emblem of a company of expeditioners. It seems you have found part of the company at last. Who is playing their turn? Like I said, as a cleric. Talk to him. I wish there was a reroll mechanic. Yeah. So she gets exactly 0. So big success. You try your best to reassure the dwarf of your words, but he's beside himself in desperation. It takes a hold of him. His eyes are lost. And he's peering right through you. Doom. I doomed them all, and now I'm doomed, he fearfully whispers. I handed them over. I betrayed them. I killed them. In exchange for what? For what? Tears fill his widening eyes, and his mouth twists in horror. His voice rises to a howl as he grips the bar of the cells while shaking them violently. A menacing glare sweeps over his facade. I don't want to die! I don't want to die! Get me out of here! Get me out of here! It doesn't appear that you'll be able to converse with him in this current state of mind. Okay, so our whole thing now is we need to free him. I guess I have to go to the door? Okay, so then let's do this. Let's have the dwarf at the door. We'll just... We'll kind of assemble them all here, and then we'll click on this door and see if that's what I need to do. It is a closed door. It appears jammed and not so easy to open. What's the dwarf strength? Oh, the dwarf's pretty strong. So yeah, let's have her go. Yes. As you approach the door, you're greeted by a gut-churning mix of odors, oil, smoke, burnt meat, and blood. Voices, I almost said voters. Voices can be heard on the other side, but you can't discern what they're saying. Agility, strength, or... I kind of want to listen closely at the door. Actually, let's do this first. Let's do... I'm going to start changing up and have a house rule because the party could switch up and do whatever they want. So I'm going to have... Who has the best perception? Nobody's skilled in it, but an orange and 2 yellows versus a red and a yellow. I mean, red's guaranteed. So let's do the cleric. She'll listen in. She got 1 success. You focus on listening as hard as you can, but you can't make out anything more than an incomprehensible murmur. The only thing that you can deduce is that there are more than one person on the other side. All right, so let's interact with it again. We'll have the dwarf. We'll just kind of go through all this. What's weird is the way the app spell is like you keep listening, being like, I think it's gonna go through it all again. Oh, it did not. Okay, it took away that. So I'm gonna kick the door down. I want to do this regardless. Who wants to pick a lock? That's not a way of making an entrance. We're gonna have Zolka do it. So she counts any clear ones as a success. So she got 2 of them. You charge at the door with all your might you can muster, and the wood shatters over your broad shoulders. But this clamor alerts those who are on the other side. At first glance, they appear to be human, but they are wearing an incredibly strange outfit. Their faces are covered with crude horn masks, and on their shoulders they wear a cape with severed arms sewn together, giving them the appearance of monsters in that ghoulish costume. Once they recover from the shock of you busting down the door, they take up guard position as one of them bellows, "Intruders!" Ooh, okay. So we'll clear these out, because I don't think I'm going to need these anymore. Okay, so let's check these monsters out real quick. Getting used to the app. So the intact. Okay, so there is 2 of them. So we'll just put. All right. So we have 2 intact and 1 intact leader who has the white ring on him. Let's do the initiative. So the intact. There's an intact and intact leader. So they're both on 3. Orc and me are on 4. Ooh. Not the best. The Zorka is on 5. And then the wizard's also on 4. Huh. Well, that kind of sucks. So they're gonna, man, they're quick. Okay, so we go to round 3. So we'll go to the leader first. I think I know how this is gonna work. So I think what happens is he attacks, but then he gets a little slower. So he's gonna attack. He's gonna attack the dwarf. He's got red and orange, and he's looking for. Is that right? He's looking for shield. I think that's what that means. He's looking for shield tokens to hit. So that's a little weird. Okay. The dwarf is going to have a black and a blue. So he's got 3 hits. So she's got a switch that she can spend on the open shields, where she gains 1 shield for it. Oh, adjacent characters can upgrade their response rolls? That's nice. So she's only going to block. Oh, she doesn't block line of sight either. Oh, I forgot. Well, we'll let this go through, but technically, first round of combat, she's a 3, so she actually should have gone first. Like I said, it's very complicated. She has a piece of equipment that says at the start of a combat, you can place your initiative token on position 3 of the initiative tracker. So she's 3, but then she slows down. So we'll say this went through, and it does 2 points of damage to her. She can't be pushed. Well, actually, she could be pushed. She could be displaced 1 back, but we are going to let her go first since she would have attacked. So, I add 1 to his roll. So he rolled 3. That means he had 4. She blocked 1. She actually takes 3 points of damage. So basically, I bust down the door. Let's see what my swing here does first. I need to generate those taunts, but I don't want to just displace. I think we're still going to do the same thing I did before, which is I would have moved my initiative value to 4. So we'll do that in a second. And I upgrade one of my attack dice. So my attack dice become orange-yellow. So let's attack him. Orange-yellow. He's got to retaliate, so he actually gets to roll a yellow and a black. That means I also have to roll my armor, because he basically is going to attack back. Alright, so my attacks. That is a clear one of those. Wow, that was actually not a very good roll. So she only gets 1 attack on him. He doesn't block it. Yeah. So he basically takes 1 point of damage, is all she does to him. And then she gets displaced and takes all that damage. So she busts through the door. The leader's standing right there. She hits him a little bit. He basically smacks her back. She'll displace 4 this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. He actually will go... he gets a little bit slower, so he's going to get +1 to his initiative. So he's going to be a 4 as well. So he's going to be basically the same time as her still. The regular husks are going to go... let's see what their behavior is. Assault means they're going to run, but there's nobody within 2 to 3. So they're going to approach 1, 2. They can't go through him. 1, 2, 3. So they basically come up to the door. Now their initiative is 2, so they're going to go pretty quick here. They're only going to displace 2 because of their behavior. I got to get through this leader. I guess the question is if I want to, if I'm going to slug it out, we should have we'll have Ormuk go. Ormuk, we need to put a dice in your attack. Well, let's do your normal thing. So you're going to build up 1 rage. Oh no, but we need to displace. Sorry, you're going to displace in rage. So you'll displace 1 automatically up to here. And we do have this weird thing where the doors, I'll have to check to see who can attack through a door. You know what? If that's... Yeah, we want him to be there. So we are going to do the HeroQuest thing where you can attack diagonally through the door so we can stack guys up. But whoever's in the front position is going to take a lot of attacks. Okay, so Ormuk, we did displace and a rage, both spend your rage and will also attack. So that means I get to upgrade 1 of your dice. So that means you get 2, or you get a red and orange. He gets to retaliate and attack. So let's do your attack first. Let's see, do you get to spend anything? You only got 1. I can make him bleed with an exclamation point. Actually, I can spend them both. I can spend 1 to do an extra point of damage to... Oh, that's an open circle. No, so I can do 1 damage and cause bleed. Let's see what he does back. He does not block. And he will do... Oh, I need to roll my armor. What do I have for armor? That's nothing. So he does do 1 damage back. And I do 1 damage to him. So we'll put 1 damage on here. He takes another point of damage. And that's it. Oh, and I give him bleed. So that's him. He goes back 4. So he's going to come back to this event. Do I want the wizard? I guess let's have the cleric. She needs to displace if she's going to do this. I guess the other thing is I could stay where I'm at and heal. I still have 2 aura tokens on me that I assume are still there. I guess, yeah, here. So she's going to need to move. So I'll take back what I was doing. I need to displace. I need to move. We're just going to move. I'll place the thing so she can spend an aura token to upgrade one of her her dice. So she gets orange, yellow to attack. He's going to do black. I'll have to also roll black with mine because he's going to do black and yellow. Because he's going to retaliate. So he does retaliate and he blocks one, which is unfortunate. But I block his retaliation. I hit once, and then I can spend the open one to hit twice. And then I can do exclamation points. I can basically heal 2. So I'm going to heal Zoka. Oops, I put a 5 on it. I'm going to heal Zoka and Ormuk each one. And I do 2 points of damage to him. Okay. And then I go back 4. And then the wizard goes. I don't want to get in the way of the dwarf. She generates 2 of her little swirlies within 5. She should. Well, let's have. She can't displace. We'll just put them both right here, so she sees through the door. She puts those down. They don't block line of sights, but all enemies that are adjacent to it receive slowed. All right, and then she's done. She goes to 4. So then we have the regular bad guys that came up behind him, his little pact. This one will move up. So they're slowed, which is just basically going to mean that they will displace 4 instead of the normal 3 when it comes about. So he'll move up there. He'll attack. He's got an orange and a black for attack. That's kind of weird. So let's see what he gets. He got 2 hits. My Ormuk only has 1 black to defend himself. He misses, but he has a special ability, so he can't take 2. He only takes 1. If they deal more than 1, he minuses 1. So he'll take a point of damage. The other one will also attack him. It does nothing. So he doesn't have to worry about that. Those 2 are done. They will now displace 4 because they're slowed down quite a bit. Let me make sure it's the right behavior. Let's do that real quick. Yeah, they just attack. And then we go to 7, which is going to be the dwarf, and then so the dwarf needs to displace 1. So can she displace 1? She can. Well, to be better, well, it doesn't really matter. She doesn't have any taunters, so she's going to move 1. She's going to move and fight, so she just moves up here and attacks. She's got 2 yellows. He's got a black and a yellow because he's going to retaliate. She hits twice. She can take that exclamation point and make it a 3rd hit. He does not block. And then his attack does nothing. Oh, actually. He does have the ability retaliate, add to the response roll if the attacker is adjacent. He does have an ability on here, though. That's empty. Okay. She does 3 points of damage to him. He doesn't block. Then she displaces 5. Then he'll go. I mean, he can't really do much but attack. So he actually has a special ability that I should have done last time, but he can block out part of my abilities, so he's going to do that. We do have to roll for his bleeding, though. Well, that's at the end of the activation. We roll for that. So then he's going to attack. He's got orange and red. He's looking for shields for successes. So he's got, and he can change that exclamation point. So he's actually got 4 successes. My big angry orc doesn't block anything, but he will only take 3 because he's got a special ability to reduce it by 1. Then at the end of the activation, he suffers a wound from bleeding to death, basically, and dies. Remove his. Oh, he obtained gold. That's great. The lifeless body of the intact leader collapses to the ground. The rest of the intact flee in terror as they witness their leader fall. You stare for a moment at the rusty symbol hanging off of its chest, never having seen anything like it. You decide to grab it and take it back to Hawthorne Point, as it probably can be identified there. I don't know what this means. I got 1 rusty symbol. Unlocked milestones. If it's still in the initiative tracker, remove 1 event 1 marker. It was. Remove all enemy miniatures. I did. You obtained torn cloth. You obtained torn cloth. All right, so the enemies are gone. They fled when their leader fled, and then we can kind of like search the area. We have a chest and 2 doors, so we'll have the dwarf, because dwarfs like chests. Let's kind of do it like this. We'll pick which one we want to do it again, because I don't think it makes sense. Since I have unlimited turns, I can just have whoever I feel like. So let's try the chest. Is a musty, time-worn trunk that seems to be open. Yeah, I want to interact with it. It's a treasure chest. There's a small chest next to the wall, but it doesn't look particularly sturdy. It's an agility chest to open. So we're going to open it. We'll have our best agility, which is Ludwig. 2 oranges. She counts clears as successes. She got 2 successes. It opens with ease. You obtained yarrow. I think that's like a type of fat. All right. They were storing, I guess they were going to cook later. All right. Then let's interact with this marker. At the far end of the room sits a dilapidated altar. Oh, we'll move her up because we'll want her to do it. It may be possible to classify some of the jars on it. Do you want to interact? Yes. Up against one of the walls of the underground chapel, there's an altar. Candles cover its stone surface, and there are symbols in an unknown language scrawled on the surface. Almost hidden amongst some random books at the back of the altar is a bottle filled with a sparkling liquid catches your eye. Intelligence test. Investigate the bottle. So she probably has the highest intelligence. She's got orange, red, yellow. She is skilled. So she gets 2. You realize that the ointment could be useful to remove stains, so you take it. You obtained perfume of protection. Remove the interaction marker. Hopefully I remember, or it brings up the perfume of protection, so I know what that is. There's a lot of items in this. Perfume of protection. All right, and then we'll kind of like prep myself for the next. I actually think this is fine. It should just be like that. There's a mostly intriguing shiny object hanging on the wall. Yes. A bunch of hanging keys on the wall. Surely one of them will open the cell where the dwarf is imprisoned. You obtain bunches of keys. Remove the exclamation marker. And then I guess I'll go back to here and check out. We'll have the dwarf do it because like she's the one that should. Yeah, we know there's an upset dwarf. Actually, I take that back. Maybe, well, we'll have the dwarf do it. We'll open the door. Remove the interaction token. After trying a couple of the keys, you find the one that finally opens the cell, and Vostok Vasdrulik rushes out, thanking you profusely in a broken voice. He stares at your expectant group, then suddenly frowns and flattens himself against the wall, as if defending himself against an attack that has yet to come. Don't you dare judge me. I would have done the same. You would have done the same. No one is all good. No one. Those voices, Master Samara, I keep wondering if they were telling me the truth. My companions, I didn't want to be killed. And I won't be. No. He rummages through his robes, quickly producing a gold coin, which he offers to you in trembling hands. If you let me go, I'll make it up to you. I won't go back. I have contacts, people in the slums who'd be grateful, very grateful to you if you let me go. Take this, take it for yourselves. You glance at each other for a moment, not knowing exactly what to do. Giving him up would have its advantages, for sure, but the denizens of the slum wield a good amount of power in the Hawthorne Point. You shouldn't rule out the possibility of improving your relationship with them if you can. So we are bringing the deranged dwarf back with me, or I'll let the dwarf go and return to Hawthorne Point. I guess we'll let the dwarf go. I think we're gonna let him go. I think the story's kind of pushing me towards letting him go, and I kind of curious because it seems like he'll make an appearance later. Ultimately, you decide that it's best to let let's do this so I can look at you. Ultimately, you decided that it's best to let Varsdurek go. It is obvious that he is no longer in his right mind. It is also prudent to have someone in the slums that owes you a favor. Muttering a quick word of thanks and saying he won't forget the gesture, the dwarf drops the gold coin at your feet. With that, he lets loose with an incomprehensible scream. That's weird. Then darts off through the underground corridors, his voice bouncing off the walls until his shouts are entirely out of earshot. You take a grim account of all the lifeless bodies strewn on the ground, those of Master Samara's servants and the previously reanimated corpses. And all this account does is raise more questions in your mind. Who is this sinister Mr. Samara? Clearly it is he who is behind the disappearances of the dwarves, and more than likely other groups of adventurers whose journeys were cut short before they could make it home to Hawthorne Point. Furthermore, they are responsible for turning Varsdurek to madness and betrayal. You do not know the Samara yet, but you do know that it would be unwise to take them lightly, as it's clear that they command dark and incomprehensible forces. Back in Hawthorne Point, you meet with Ambassador Thrusmund to inform her of your findings. However, you do not admit to her that you let Varsdurek go, but rather that he escaped. With pursed lips, she succinctly thanks you for your efforts, then bids you farewell. Before leaving, you hear her state after recovering the bodies of the fallen is now a priority, but you could use a rest after this taxing adventure. With the memories of the mission still fresh in your mind, you cannot help but wonder if the appearance of these new monsters is somehow connected to the suspicious activity of the mist that now surround the forest. Oh, lower your affinity of Mount Haven by 1 point? Okay, so it looks like affinity is tracked in the app, so hopefully, maybe I shouldn't have let him go, but, well, whatever. It's done. Increase your affinity of the slums. So let's see if this gives us the... Alright, so this is the in-between phase. Quest complete. Going into this game and how I knew, like I read through the rulebook, I knew it was going to be complicated. Going through it, I was a little nervous. I wasn't sure what to expect. I wasn't positive I was going to be able to play all 4 of them effectively, but I felt pretty good. I do think the out of combat situation, like you're supposed to move around, you get 2 actions, but it seems kind of ridiculous when you could in theory just keep letting turns go by and not do anything. So I think my house rules are just kind of adjusting and moving them about however I want, and then whenever I do a test, I'll just have the person who has the best attribute, because they'll just switch up and the other person will do the attribute. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought the combat was very fascinating to me once I got into it. The usage of all the cubes is really neat. The fact that you can take one of these cards and like block out one of the top rows, like that can be a special ability, is kind of interesting. I didn't do too much with the stain stuff yet. You can remove it when you get back to Hawthorne Point. Or there's ways to remove it, but if you have 10 or more when you get back to Hawthorne Point, you have to take, like, you draw a card because there's a consequence of it. There's a taint. And you can get, also, you can just give yourselves taint, I think. If you get a tattoo, I'm going to kind of look into that more between missions. The other thing that took me a little bit of comprehending is that on some of the cards, they have these chains, because when you spend the cubes, you get like 3 cubes, but once you put it on a row, you can put 1, 2, or 3 in that row, but that's the only row you can place. And some of them will adjust your next turn order. I really like that initiative tracker where like you might be taking an action that delays you next turn, or you might be taking an action that you speed up next turn. That's kind of cool. I really like the interaction. I actually do really like it a lot. I like the fighting. I thought it was going to be super complex going into it. It's not too bad. After this first game, I think it'll get better as I go, knowing how it all works. But I enjoyed it. I'm really curious to see where the quest is going to. So, like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you at the next quest.